don't have any grant, we don't have any consistent funding. So for us to be able to do what we do is through well wishers, people who have seen through maybe the social media platforms or on our website, they have seen the work that we are doing and they just want to contribute something. So, but that is not consistent, as you may know.
Yeah.
So that's what helps us maybe to pay for our rentals, utilities, and things like that, and maybe do a few projects here and there. And so what we've also tried to do is to just try and just implement activities that are not very costly right now, and ensure that at least we are keeping our young people engaged. As you can see, this is a donation from a well-wisher. They donated this, a lot of books, there are books behind everywhere, but young people cannot just come get a book and sit on the floor. So what we are trying to do now is to establish a mini youth library right here. So we have a campaign that is, this is just for information, we have a campaign that is currently running to raise funds so that we can set up a library. And also because most of these books are like storybooks, novels, inspirational books and things
so
like that.
Where's the campaign now? Are you running the campaign?
So online right now, just online.
Through what, GoFundMe?
No, just on
your social
media, yes.
Okay.
Because GoFundMe here is
it's not
it's not, yeah, so in Zambia, no.
Okay.
So just through social media campaigns, and people look at that, it's like, oh, I want to contribute something, they send whatever they have. But yeah, we want to set up a nice place here that's conducive for them to sit, study, and read. And also we want to add to this list, we want to add educational books like science, mathematics, and things like that. So that's what we do. So in terms of financial resources, right now we don't have any grant, we don't have any funding, like I've said. So that is why we're thinking of developing a business model, and maybe we can make something that can go towards our interventions. But yeah, so so low income community with respect. And I experienced first-hand abuse. You know, where you see your mother being abused, you see within your family your sisters are being abused by their husbands, and you go out in the community, you see the abuse continue. So it somehow seemed like normal, like okay, that's how it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to,
yeah. But I was exposed to later on when I was like 15 or 16, I was exposed to mentors from church who I think they were very intentional about supporting young people, the youth group at the church, and I've tried to emulate that, because one of the things that I really appreciated about them was the fact that it wasn't just like in a group of people like, hey guys, how are you doing? How is life? How is everything? You say, oh, it's fine, and then it ends there. What they'll do is they'll sit with you one-on-one, like, hey, how are you? How is your home situation? How is school? What are you struggling with? And it just didn't end there. So when you explain to say, okay, I'm going, because now they're giving you attention, so you freely open up and share some of the challenges that you're facing. You say, oh, I think I'm struggling with mathematics, I'm struggling with ABC, they haven't paid my school fees. Okay, how can I help you? And then they'll help you. So when I got a job in the NGO, working in the communities, and mostly the projects that I was working on were around women, children, and youth in general in the communities.
So you've always been in the space.
Yeah,
this was just an expansion of.
Yeah. So I kind of realized the gap that existed, you know, in responding to some of those challenges that we're dealing with, teenage pregnancies, child marriages. I realized that these girls are not impregnating themselves. These girls are not marrying themselves. You find that there's a father who is marrying off these children, there's a man who is marrying off this girl child. So why don't we bring the boys and the men to the table to respond to these issues? That is why we thought of coming up with this organization called Men of Honor.
I like the name.
So that is how we were born, and I had to talk to young people young men who also had a passion about some of these challenges, and so we came together to start this initiative.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's it from me. Is there anything else you want to say, you want to do before we do?
Who are being abused, they can speak out, and then we can also help them to link them to aftercare services for some of those issues. Others are actually older men or young men who have grown but they were abused and they never talked to anyone about those issues. So, and some of those things actually translate into other issues when they are older. They become abusive. It's a whole thing. So, yeah, I think we have a lot of work that we need to do. But yeah, here we are, and we're doing the best that we can do.
So why did you start this project? You personally, what does it mean to you, this project?
I think it's personal. That's how I can describe it in one way. So I was raised in the schools. Sometimes we go in the schools, we sit with young people and deliver the messages and stuff like that. Then the other one that's ongoing is the ones that we have right here. Here at the office.
And this is where you operate from?
Yes, so this is like our offices where we are located. And we have two sites. So there's this site and there's another one in George. So young people meet every Saturday.
Yeah.
So the space, that's what we are calling the men's boardroom. So even those that we talk to in the community, if they're interested, we invite them to come here and then they kind of register and become part of the men's boardroom.
And decide if they want to come back or not, if it's interesting.
Yeah, it's entirely up to them. But we try as much as possible to make it fun. And also just to give them time to also talk, because in most of these interventions,
I don't want to just sit and listen.
Yeah, it's like okay, we've heard that before, but they have a lot of things that they need to pour out. We just want to give them that opportunity. Yeah.
So what's next for Men of Honor? What happens? How do you see the organization growing?
Yeah. So what we want to do is, first of all, and we are looking for capacity outside to help us develop a business model that can help us to generate income to support the projects that we are doing, and that's what we are working on. Then, secondly, what we want to do is we want to create to establish hubs in all the 10 provinces that we have. So that's on the scaling aspect. So once we have the resources, we can get more people, we can get more volunteers, and then we can scale to the other districts. Like I have mentioned, our vision is to ensure that we raise a generation of men that will be responsible to respond to the community challenges and needs. We don't want men who just say, "Oh, we'll leave this to." And the other big issue that we are dealing with is, for example, gender-based violence or gender. The moment you just said the word gender, we associate it to women, right?
Women, exactly.
And men distance themselves from it. So we want to break some of those stereotyping issues and ensure that men understand why this fight is really important, not just for the women,
not
but
just
for them as
but for
individuals.
them as men as well.
Yeah.
Because men also get abused, right?
Exactly. So there's
and
that.
They don't say anything because if a male goes to the police station saying I was raped or I was,
there are not more others like him who have been impacted by our interventions. So first of all, the main objective for us is behavior change. To prevent young people from indulging into certain illicit activities.
How do you measure it though?
Sorry?
How do you measure it though? Because you're not with them 24/7. How do you know that their behaviors have changed? Apart from Joseph.
That's a good question. That's why I'm saying here's an example. It's a perfect example that we have right now. As you may know, behavior change is it's complex, right? So what we do is we do an assessment. First of all, it's information. We're providing information, right? Before these young people come, we do an assessment with information like awareness levels about certain issues. And then after they go through, because we have got different modules, the modules that we use, different materials that we use. Some of them are here behind me. So before they go through a course, for example, we do an assessment, we check the information that they have, and we talk to them about some of the things that, like this, how their general life looks like. After some time, we go back and do an assessment again to check, okay, based on this program, are they ticking these boxes? So once they check those boxes, for us it's a plus, because we know that by now they have this information. And it's entirely up to them now, like you have said, we will not be there 24/7. It's entirely up to them now to make the right decisions. Because now they have the information. They know how to use, for example, a condom. So we will not be there to check, are you using a condom? It won't happen. But we have provided information. We know they have that information. But some of the things are actually very visible when we see young people come back to us with success stories to say, oh, because of that program, like what we're doing right now, because of that program now I'm doing ABCD. And it's a good thing that you've come to see whether YALI is making an impact or not, right? And because of me having been able to go through the program, I now realize that, oh wow, I think for us to be able to raise resources for the organization, maybe we need to try to do ABCD. So you see that you are creating an impact. And for us, that's how we measure impact, to see, okay, of these young people who have been through our program, where are they at? Are they still where we found them, or they've moved? Are they doing ABCD? Are they... we see how, like, most of the young boys, when we go in our community, because the community is like within here, and you see...
Do you do site visits?
Yes. So we do site visits, but also what we try to do is we want to promote leadership in young people. So
what do you
leadership track? So there was in the lessons there was a lot that was discussed around sustaining your projects, or resource mobilization and doing businesses and things like that. And so that's the approach that we're trying to take, to see how as an organization we can raise our own resources, in as much as we are applying for grants and things like that, but start our own businesses and be able to raise resources that we can take back to the community and fund our programs. So that's where we are at right now.
That's where you're at right now. So what I want to know is, okay, so you provide all these skills and resources to the young men, and we have this conversation
that we have, especially for programs that are focusing on boys, not so popular. And even funding, when you have those openings, like women and girls, so it's been very difficult for us to get those resources or to get those grants. And so what we are trying to do also as an organization is to, and I got this from being able to reach to I think above 500, somewhere there, right? Yeah, somewhere there. So what we did, especially last year, we worked with the government through the Ministry of Education to form adolescent clubs in the schools. So we identified 2 schools because of the limited resources. So we had to work with 2 schools right in the neighborhood. And what we were doing there, we were having these groups of boys and talking to them about issues to do with gender-based violence, teenage pregnancies, drug and substance abuse. And that's what we did for the most part of last year. This year we haven't done so because of the limited resources that we have, and because in most cases it's the men that leave the homes.
Yeah.
In most cases, you see that it's the men that leave the homes. And despite the fact that we have this movement, which is good to support women and the girls, but we want to build a generation of men that can understand, respect the women, that can stand a strong, educated, successful woman. Because if you have a successful and strong woman who is, linked or connected to an educated man, a man who is not informed, who still have a lot of, who is still harboring a lot of pain and issues that they grow up with as a child and transitioning into adulthood, then again you see a lot of divorce cases, you see a lot of gender-based violence cases. And so basically that's what we're trying to do as an organization, to build a community of men, adult men, young men and boys who can positively contribute to the community, and also just being responsible themselves. And when you see our tagline, it says growth, responsibility and honor. The idea is there's that, that phase that they have to go through. They have to grow. So through the mentorship that we're providing, the resources that we're providing to them, they should be able to grow become responsible and ultimately honorable members of the community that can also mentor young boys and continue that cycle of building responsible men in the community. So basically, that's what we do.
How far does someone can't parent properly if they not find themselves, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. I was going to touch on that as well. So. And the beauty about our approaches is that it's not like we are here to teach you.
Right.
We want to listen to you. How is your life? What are some of the challenges that you're going through as a dad? And then they are the ones who bring up these issues, and we try to get solutions from them.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the issues that were coming out were that we actually noticed that, because we implemented this project in Chongwe, there were a lot of cases of suicide, and we were working with the traditional leaders, the village headmen, that's what they are called, and so they are the ones who are actually bringing the men together in that space. And so there's no power. I've shown you I prepared some slides.
Okay. So
when we're having those conversations, we're trying to find out, okay, what are some of those challenges you're going through? Okay, is it like alcohol abuse? Why? What's the underlying issue that's causing or leading you to do that? And we talked a lot about the issues in their marriages and all sorts of things. So we uncovered a lot of things.
Because those are not conversations they can have at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like a space where it's like, now we are the men, we feel safe, we can talk about this. And when one man brings out an issue, others can relate. Oh, actually, even me, this is what happened. So we had interesting conversations, but unfortunately, we still haven't been able to get funding for that project to be able to scale up and also, extend it to other parts. So I was just giving an example in terms of the services that we are providing. And for the boys, like the men's boardroom. Just to expand in terms of some of the things that we do in that space. We, aside from creating that safe space for the boys, we also, it's like a similar approach. We talk to them and find out like, how is the home situation, who are you living with, what are you struggling with at school, and all sorts of things. Okay. So they are able to bring out issues that sometimes, now we are almost used, sometimes they just, a jaw will drop. I remember one time right here in this space, we sat down with the boys, we were talking, and we were talking about something related to sexual reproductive health. And it was interesting to find out that boys as young as 11, 12, they already know about sexual boosters, for example, and they're already indulging. Yeah. So what we are trying to do here is to ensure that we provide information so that those who haven't yet started, indulging in sex, they can delay. Because young people, if they don't have the information, they delay the sex debut. And when they get to that place where they are indulging, at least they know how they can protect themselves and their partners. So those are some of the things that we try to do right here in this space. But also, we are a family here. You see a lot of social activities, we play games, some energizers and things like that. And that is just to make them feel free, to make them feel comfortable, and also just to give them a space where, because they come from a background where some of them are being abused and all those things. So when they come here, they feel safe and they can freely express themselves. And why we do that is simply because we want to raise a generation of men who will be free to express themselves, generation of men that can contribute positively to the community, start 10 to 19, the adolescent boys, and then 19 to 24, the young men, and then 25 and above, the men. So these different segments, we are providing different services. Even the information is tailored to the age groups. So, for example, for the young men, for the boys, we are talking about issues to do with drugs, helping them through like school, and other issues relating to sexual reproductive health. Then we have similar messaging for the young men, but tailored to the age group. So even the language kind of differs.
Mm.
And then for the older men, we actually did a pilot project sometime in 2022 where we were engaging men in issues to do with gender-based violence, family planning, as well as parenting skills, positive parenting skills, because we're seeing a connection with behavior of boys or young people in the community and the parenting. So we brought the men into a space where they can bring out these issues and talk to them about how are they parenting the children, what kind of messaging are they giving, are they being there for them? Because we see that a lot of households, the men are not there.
Do you do any, sorry to correct you, but do you do anything for men around?
The first project that we started was called the Men's Boardroom, and I wish Des would talk more about it, but I'll still go ahead and give that.
What, the men's boardroom?
Sorry?
What did you say? The
men's boardroom.
The men's
That's
boardroom.
what we are calling it. So it's basically a space for adolescent boys and young men to come together, discuss issues, and also for us to just provide mentorship, coaching, and we established the organization in 2020. And that was around the COVID time. So in 2021, I think it was just, in its initiation phase.
Okay.
But yeah, so we have other team members who are not here. There's Samuel, who is the lead person with the youth programs, and then we have about 6 other executive members. In total, as our delegation should do, he's the one who is coordinating the adolescent boys and young men programs. And then we have Joseph, he's our beneficiary here, being part of one of the programs that we are running. Now he's a facilitator, but he's also he's got his own department behind, as you will see. We started something.
Businesses and alumni together to meet and they talk about if it's agriculture, if it's agriculture, it will be all the businesses from agriculture. But during COVID, you had to shut it down. Session with me about what it is that you do, what is the impact of your project, how many beneficiaries are you impacting, right? Like do you have employees, how many employees do you have, how sustainable is your project, where does your money come from? I like asking that question, yes. I love that question because I want to know. We were in Madagascar last week, and one of